Hi everyone, my name is Patricios and together we will go through the main aspects of procurement. I'm going to talk about policies, procedures, rules and regulations, and then I'm going to show you where you can find all this material, including charts, forms, and general templates to assist you when you need to purchase a good or a service. You can see here the Institute's webpage. Scroll down and on your left hand you can see the link for the procurement page. Click on it and you can see all the information about procurement. By exploring the bar on your left, you can see general procurement information, the office personnel, a comprehensive list of services provided by the Office of Procurement, then different committees, law, regulations, rules and procedures, sustainable green public procurement, and other contacts. Let's go through the general information first. This is a general overview of the Procurement Office goal and objectives. Through our office, the Institute is aiming to improve value for money from the procurement of goods, services and works. It is important to ensure that expenditures are constrained within the Institute's budgetary provisions and resources are selected and managed in the best possible way. Main objectives like obtaining best value and minimum risk when procuring goods and services, and ensuring that all staff involved in the procurement process are aware of the relevant law and regulations are vital for procurement. Let's see now who's the personnel of Procurement Office. On the screen, you can see the procurement team members, including their contact details. The team is at your disposal and you can contact them at any time for their guidance on procurement-related matters. Let's move on by clicking on the list of services. Now you have on the screen a comprehensive list of all the services provided by the procurement, including details for each service, the contact person and his details. Therefore, when you are not sure whom to contact for a specific procurement matter, this is a list to guide you. Once again, do not hesitate to contact any member of the team for guidance or advice. Let's click on committees. There are 3 different committees that are involved in procurement procedures. The process is initiated by Procurement Committee or the Procurement Office. This committee is aiming to support and provide advice to the personnel. Therefore, if you need to procure for goods, services or works, the first step is to contact the Procurement Office to get advice and guidance on how to initiate the process. The next step is the appointment of an evaluation committee with main purpose to evaluate the received offers. Note that the evaluation committee is a temporary committee. Depending on the purchase, a committee with the expertise in that field is appointed. For example, a civil engineer will be appointed in an evaluation committee that handles an engineering-related tender and not a specific equipment tender. As last but not least, tender committee, with major responsibility to approve or reject the final outcome of a competition. In some cases, this committee can decide on the budget to be used or even to approve another procedure to be followed. Finally, all negotiation procedures should be authorized and approved by the tender committee. I'm sure you will like this part. This is none other than the law, regulations, rules, and procedures. Let's click the link on your left to access. At this point, let me explain that the Cyprus Institute is mainly funded by national and European funds. For this reason, our organization is obliged to follow the national legislation and the relevant EU directives. Here you can find the links for these regulations, rules, and procedures. Scroll down and you can find the procurement life cycle. This chart illustrates the procurement life cycle. Primarily, it is very important to identify your needs. Next, you should perform a thorough market research, and through this research, you identify what is available in the market, what is the market price, their delivery time, and so on. This will enable you to determine your final needs. After you have determined your needs, you can either perform a competition by yourself or you can visit the procurement office for advice, depending always on the amount to be spent. When the tender procedure is defined, then you evaluate the offers received and you award the tender. The evaluation committee evaluates the tender, and following approval by the tender committee, the contract is signed and executed. To close the cycle, you give feedback evaluating the process. However, have in mind that if the initial steps are not executed properly, this might lead to an unsuccessful procedure. Thus, you may need to redo the whole cycle. You must be precise with your needs for a successful outcome. Let's move on to the value of contracts. In order to assist you understand the procurement procedures, we have created a number of policies and few helpful charts. This is the value of contract chart. Depending on the amount to be handled, you proceed with the designated procedure. Check the first column. For tenders below €2,000 for works or supplies and €5,000 accordingly for services, you may proceed with direct award. When you find what you really need, just complete the purchase request and inform accounts accordingly. Following their approval, you can purchase the product or service of your choice. Please include an internal memo explaining the main features of the purchase. The next category is for amounts between €2,000 to €15,000 for supplies or works and €5,000 to €25,000 for services. In this case, you should obtain at least 3 valid quotations with selection criteria the lowest price. You may find through the Institute intranet and template email application to assist you. This template includes all the information such as delivery time, terms of payment, guarantees, etc. Additional to this, you just need to complete the technical aspects of the product you are requesting and you're done. When you receive your 3 or more quotations, Then you complete the purchase request, including the quotations received and the appropriate internal memo as mentioned before. Going to the next category, for amounts between 15 to 50,000 euro for supplies and works and 25 to 80,000 euro for services, you have two options. You can either request quotations via email, like before, with the note that for the competitions to be valid, you need 4 quotations, or proceed with an open call through procurement. From our experience, getting 4 quotations is uncommon. Therefore, for these cases, it is recommended to proceed with an open call. Allow me to show and explain what e-procurement is by entering the web page of e-procurement. As you can see, this is the Treasury Public Procurement Directorate. E-procurement is the national platform to upload tender competitions. E-procurement platform is a powerful tool for procurers and economic operators. So how do we proceed with this kind of competitions? We just have to complete the draft documents as provided by the Treasury Department of the Republic and upload the tender. To do so, as requestors of a supply or a service, you have to complete the technical part of the documents to enable procurement office to do the rest. When all documents are finalized and approved, the procurement office will publish the tender documents through the platform. Through this platform, registered economic operators have access to download the documents and request clarifications electronically. This is a transparent and open procedure allowing economic operators to send questions and get clarifications, even if these were asked by another economic operator. The platform allows economic operators not only to request clarifications, but also extension of time for the submission of their offers. Likewise, as contracted authority, we may upload new documents or extend the deadline for the submission of offers if required. The offers received will be automatically sent to the evaluation committee's emails, having the responsibility to evaluate the offers timely. Templates of the evaluation reports can be found through the Institute's intranet. Knowing that it is not easy to evaluate offers, these templates were created to give to the evaluation committees the tools and guidelines to evaluate the offers. Once the tender committee approves the tender, we upload the results into the system and the contract is awarded. Note that even if only an offer is received, we can still proceed with that single one. In these cases, as a good practice, Procurement Office examines the reasons why the rest of the companies did not submit a quotation. As a general comment, most of the companies in Cyprus are registered in this platform, as well as companies from several European countries. In case a potential supplier now is not yet registered, you can easily ask them to do so. It takes only 5 minutes to register. Being registered, they can have access to all information concerning a competition and of course to any future competitions. A registered guideline in both Greek and English can be provided to companies to assist them registering the system. Returning back to the chart, we can now examine the last category. For supplies and works over 50,000 euro and 80,000 euro for services up to the EU thresholds, it is an obligation to publish all tenders through e-procurement. Whereas for lower amounts, e-procurement is an option. For these amounts, it is a requirement. Scroll down to the next page. Look at the yellow letters. These amounts illustrate the EU thresholds for organizations like ours. 214,000 for supplies and services and 5,350,000 for works. What does this mean now? Up to this amount, we perform a national competition through e-procurement. Over these amounts, all competitions must be published through the EU Gazette. This is called European competition. The amounts are changing every 2 years. As you can see on the top of this page, these amounts apply from the beginning of 2020 until the end of 2021. In case when a competition was published in the national platform, e-procurement, and the winning offer exceeds the EU thresholds, then the competition is declined as unaccepted. You should make sure that the competition amount will not exceed the thresholds, or else the EU competition should be followed. A common question is what are the differences between these two competitions? As discussed earlier, the one is a national and the other one is a European tender. The deadline for the submission of the offers are different. For the national competition, through e-procurement, the minimum deadline is 14 days, whereas the European competition, the minimum deadline is 35 days. These are just the minimum deadlines. So if they are not realistic, then a longer and more realistic deadline should be stated in the documents, or else we may end up without any offers. The other big difference between these two competitions is the right of an economic operator to appeal to the tender review authority if they disagree with the final outcome of the tender. This applies only for tenders over the EU thresholds. In national competitions, economic operators do not have this right. When economic operators appeal to the tender review authority, it can take months for a decision. This is why I cannot answer my favorite and most frequent asked question on how long a tender competition will last. However, if everything goes smoothly, it may take 2 to 3 months depending on the tender. Let's go back to the main page and check the award criteria. There are 3 types of award criteria: the lowest price, the lowest cost, and the best value of money. The meaning of lowest price is clear. Specifications are set. If the companies fulfill them, then the company that submitted the lowest price is chosen. Lowest cost means the life cycle of the product. For example, to purchase a printer, you consider many things: the price of the actual printer, the toner needed, the energy consumption, the recycling, the use of paper. All this together makes the cost. When it comes to the best value of money, predefined weighting factors are set for the technical and the financial part. For example, 60% for the technical and 40% for the financial part of the tender. Predefined technical evaluation criteria are also set in this case. For example, you have requested 1 year guarantee. For every additional year of guarantee, the economic operator gets 5 points. Or for every additional 2 megapixels, you get 2 extra points. You set your minimum technical requirements, and in addition to that, you can have these predefined technical requirements. Note that if an economic operator does not fulfill all the minimum requirements, then it cannot be evaluated further, especially the predefined, as these requirements were additional to the minimum ones. Moreover, an offer satisfying these extras will be evaluated with a higher mark. For this, a formula is used to calculate the final mark, including the technical mark and the financial offer. The offer with the highest mark will be the winning company. This is the best value of money. It is understood that when this award criteria is used, better technical characteristics will be offered. However, we should be ready to pay more to get something better. You evaluate considering both the price and the technical parameters in accordance to the weighting factor predefined to each part. Going back to the main page, I would like to discuss possible exceptions to the already mentioned procedures. There might be cases when your market research will indicate that a product is unique because of technical requirements, compatibility restrictions, and so on, or a product is distributed by only one company. In such exceptional cases, you should seek procurement office support to reinforce the purchase of a unique product. The preparation and submission of a thorough and comprehensive internal memo is required, along with a written source certification by the distributor. The internal memo, along with the relevant approved purchase request, should be submitted to Procurement Office and Tender Committee for approval for a negotiation procedure to be followed. Most common exceptions are the procedures followed for procuring IT equipment and catering services. When it comes to IT equipment, and given that a great amount is expected annually for the purchase of such supplies, all purchases should be centralized and managed by IT office. Whether this is a mouse or a laptop, you should request it through the IT office. As IT equipment is considered an exception to the rule, for any purchase amount, a separate, simplified competition should be followed. As already discussed earlier, this means requesting and receiving at least 3 offers. To avoid performing a lot of tendering procedures, a public framework agreement for IT supplies was introduced through a procurement platform, allowing contracted authorities to buy directly any IT equipment offered under this agreement. You may wonder, what is this framework agreement? Framework are centralized agreements to provide goods, works, or services on pre-agreed specified terms and conditions, including prices, without the commonly associated level of bureaucracy. In case the products offered through this agreement are not the quality or type we require, then we cannot avoid performing our own individual competition. Another exclusion to the rule are the catering services. Use of catering services policy. Typically, the Institute spends around €30,000 annually in catering services because of different events organized. Obviously, it is not realistic to combine all these events together and request a single offer. For each event, the number of participants are different. Visitors and the duration of the needed catering services are also different. Thus, requests for catering services cannot be streamlined under a framework agreement. Therefore, according to the Institute's internal policy for catering services below €250, you can request catering from whenever you wish without performing any kind of competition. However, for over €250, you have to obtain at least 3 quotations. To assist you, a table of approved caterers was created, including their contact details and general comments. You can find the table here at the bottom of this policy. There are just few of them that were used for past events and provided quality service. Feel free to add more caterers in your list if you wish and trust their service quality. Closing this policy, I remind you once again that you can find a number of forms under the Institute's intranet, such as template emails, template memos, template for evaluation report, certificate of acceptance, and so on. Let me comment on a few more things. Certificate of acceptance is the document you complete once you receive an order to declare whether or not it arrived in the expected condition and on time. By submitting this certificate to accounts, you enable them to proceed with the payment. Please do not forget that for a purchase to be approved, in addition to the purchase request, an internal memo must be submitted. The memo is expected to include information like the purpose and use of the supply, under which project you purchase, market research details, and evaluation of the received offers. For your assistance, you can find the template memo evaluation under the intranet. Last but not least, and very important, is the effort made to advance the green public procurement. This is an important tool to achieve environmental policy goals related to climate change, resource use, and sustainable consumption and production. The next video will give you a clear idea what GPP is. Let's watch the following short video on GPP.
Public authorities spend around €2,000 billion on products and services in the European Union each year. This money is spent on computers, cars, electricity, buildings, furniture, paper, food, catering and cleaning services. These all have a significant impact on the environment and contribute to many of today's problems, including global warming, pollution, the depletion of natural resources, and waste. Public authorities can help reduce the pressure on our planet and save money by opting for environmentally friendly products and services. This is what green public procurement is all about. It means thinking about the impact that a product can have throughout its life, and even what happens to it when it is no longer being used. You find that in the long run, green options are often the cheapest. Public authorities are influential customers. They can help change production and consumption trends and create demand for green products and technology. Buying organic food and sustainable timber can drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions. If all public authorities across the EU were to require more energy-efficient computers, they would save 830,000 tons of carbon dioxide. And if they were all to opt for water-efficient toilets and taps in public buildings, they would cut water consumption by 200 million cubic meters. So spread the word and lead the change.
Let me conclude this presentation by saying that you are always welcome to visit or contact Procurement Office for support. We are always glad to discuss and assist you with any questions you may have. Thank you for your time and for watching our induction video. I hope that this video has clarified and highlighted the main aspects of procurement processes. Have a nice day.